Welcome back to Light Talk, where everyday people can tell their spiritual journey stories with a safe and supportive community. If you'd like to be a guest on the show, please email me at lighttalk423 at gmail.com. And don't forget to push the like, share, and subscribe buttons below. Today, I'm going to tell you a few more stories of my journey. Um, One of them is way back in 1991-ish, around that time frame. I was working as a security guard in a airport and um, looking up in one of the fisheye mirrors outside of my little hut that I was in. There was a fisheye mirror out there so I could see what's behind me. I was looking in there and I saw what I thought was Sherlock Holmes. He had the cap on, the Ford build cap. He had it was plaid and he had the pipe and he was just sitting there with his pipe just kind of looking at me and everything. I was like, where is this coming from? I'm looking all over. I'm looking in the mirror and I'm checking it out. I'm looking back behind the hut, trying to see what is back there that could be possibly making the shape of Sherlock Holmes in this mirror. And to mind you, this was like a night shift. So I'm sitting there at what, 2 o'clock in the morning or something, seeing this. And I look in the mirror, I look back, he's still there. I'm sitting here, I'm rubbing my eyes. It's like, Dana, you got to wake up. You got to wake up. What's going on? And looking in the mirror, and he's still there. He was there. I would guess he was probably there for probably about a good 20 seconds. He was in that mirror, just looking at me, just crazy. Um, at that airport, there was talk that was going around that janitors had a hard time going into some of their closets because things would be happening and everything. And at this point, the airport was getting ready to move to a bigger airport out more in the east side of the state. And the rumors had said that Stapleton, which is the airport I was working at, was Stapleton Airport in Denver, and he was upset. Mr. Stapleton was, and so there was a lot of ghosts about him, I guess, all over the airport with people seeing him, janitors and all. But I never witnessed any of that. But that's what they were saying. Um, I also like to tell some stories of some of my drives going to that airport. Although I had switched jobs, I was now working for UPS at the time. And I would be driving to work and making turns and all of this, and I was asleep. I like blacked out, or I don't know how to fully explain it. Understand recently it's more of a channeling. I was channeling at these times. But this is what I experienced. One of my biggest times with the driving was I had walked out of the house that I was living in. I remember locking the door and I was parked out on the street. So I wasn't even in the driveway. And I remember locking the door. And next thing I remember, I was at work. I'd had already punched in and we already had our morning meeting. And I was talking to the guys at work, getting, just before we headed out for the planes when they arrived and all. But that was like a 30-mile drive from my home to the airport. And there was like, I don't know, I never counted it, but it was, I would guess, about 8 to 10 turns that I had to do to get there. So I don't know how I got there that morning, but it was a very interesting. I didn't realize what had happened until I keep talking about it. And the more and more I'm telling the story, it was like, wow, this was kind of weird. So, and learning and going into this journey, I'm realizing it was more of a channeling. So I had someone channeling through me to do this drive for me. So I'm excited to get my channeling going again because that was kind of interesting. It was like missing time is how I was told to think about that was like a missing time period in my life. And that definitely was a missing time. Um, I had multiple times like that where after that job, I'd be going to school. So I'd be driving quite a distance again and heading off to school straight from work. And I would be driving and I didn't know where I was at. One time I don't suggest doing this because this is not something I want people to just do because it's very dangerous. So do not do the sleeping on the road. I do not do it because, yeah, I've done it too many times and it's scary as all. Um, but this time here, I was driving into school and I just about missed my turn. I started veering off into the off ramp and realized it. And I came back into my lane. And when I looked behind me, there was a cop behind me. And I was like, whoa, I hope I didn't get a ticket because I don't know when I blanked out in this drive here. And it was pretty scary. It was pretty scary. Um, but I guess either whoever I was channeling drove pretty good or I drive pretty good when I'm asleep. But I don't suggest that to anybody. It's put quite the scare in me when I'm behind the wheel and this happens. But yeah, that was some more of my experiences. And another job I had when I first found out about this whole spiritual realm and everything was not too long ago, a few years back. And I started paying more attention and everything. And there was a ghost that was in our building that was kind of harassing one of the other employees. They actually worked together when he was living, but he had stayed around and he's harassed this other employee for a while, just messed with her, turned on lights and walked around and, just things like that. She was always yelling at him too. But I was working one time, I was at this machine and I was taking inventory doing that. And I had a clipboard in my hand and he had walked by. I had the clipboard sitting here and he'd walked by and just kind of tapped on the clipboard. So you could feel the clipboard kind of bounce in your hand there. And when I looked up, I saw him walking away. So I saw the jeans he was in and I saw the shirt he was in and about how tall he was, brown hair and whatnots. And so that was pretty cool to see that. It was first time really seeing the full body like that. It was cool. Um, at the same job, I also had um, visions of this dog walking by my office, or the dog ran across. I just caught it at the corner of my eye. He was low to the ground. He was like in a square shape, almost like Beauty and the Beast, how the dog was like that chair piece there. Um, so he looked a lot like that, and he was like in all these different colors, almost like a plaid coloring, um, but just all different colors. And I just saw it out the corner of my eye, just running by me. I like, what? What was that? um, Also, I had walked out of my office there and I had my radio on, just kind of bouncing to it, blah, blah, blah. And I heard my name coming from the radio, and I'm like, I kind of put on my brakes and I kind of walked back. I was like, what was that? But they did come through the radio and said my name right there. And another time I was working in that area with where my office was, and I looked over and one of the shelving units there, the sides of it just turned into like this all plaid, black and red plaid, the whole side of it was black and red plaid. And I don't know, black and red plaid seems to be the thing with this. So I don't know if there's a meaning to that. If anyone has knows of anything on it, please comment in the below. You know, I'd love to hear if anybody has any ideas what any of my these stories are, or anything of what I'm trying to explain. Um, but it's a lot of fun to go through these things. At that time, knew I was seeing things, but previously, like with my driving to the airport and all of those experiences were just so unknown to me, and I wasn't sure about it. I thought I'd been dreaming. It's like, no, this not real, but it's something that's really stuck with me. It's like I remember them, and so to me that feels like there's something with it. There's something that really happened if it sticks with me that strongly. So I guess that'll be it for this time around. I just wanted to give a few more stories out there for all of you. And I hope you can contact me so I can hear your stories. I'm excited as all get out to hear your stories. So please contact me. Let me hear your stories. Let's get this going, and um, let the world know that it's not a crazy thing. It's all true. It's all real stuff. And we're in this together. So let's support each other. Let's raise the energy level of this universe together, and we'll continue our journey with it. And I want to share my journey with you. So let's be together and share all of it. I was just so excited about it. So I will talk with you later. Don't forget to click your subscribe and like buttons and share it with all your friends, and let them know that it's a safe place to tell our stories. I will talk with you later. Till next time. Bye.